Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Keeping It Real TV Network, keeping it real in all aspects of life and giving back in more ways than one. Here at Keeping It Real TV Network, we want to see you grow, not just for yourself, but for your whole entire bloodline. We want to see you improve, elevate, and do so much better. So as you come in, kindly drop what city, state, country, all of that jazz in the comments. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. It's so good to see you all. As you come in, as I was saying, just drop your state, your city, province. Let us know where you're from. We would like to reach out and just say hi to you personally. If you would like to follow us on any of our other platforms, we are also on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. All can be found within our link tree, which is Keeping It Real TV Network. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff actually that is really amazing over on our Instagram page. We've got everyday greeting cards, a whole bunch of different stuff. We've got recipes, a whole heap of stuff over there. So check that out when you get a chance to. But listen, tonight, I'm actually really excited about tonight. Tonight is geared towards single parents. It's honestly good for everyone and anyone, but tonight is about single parents, entitled Start, Mind Your Own Money. And I think this is something that is going to be great knowledge and definitely benefit in all areas of your life if you listen and apply. So if you haven't already, grab a pen, grab a paper, however you take notes. Make sure that you jot down all that Aqui is going to say because it is important. Let me get in close. It's important. It's really, really important. So with that being said, I'd love to introduce our evening's guest, Aqui, to you. Aqui, also known as Financially Savvy Girl, which she can be found on Instagram, which is at financially_savvy girl, and savvy girl is together, is a lawyer by trade, an award-winning real estate investor, personal finance coach, and hang on one second. There was just a slight glitch. Sorry. Personal finance and fitness coach who strongly believes in the importance of self-care. Self-care is important, like really, really important. And Aqui, please touch on that tonight, please. Financial freedom and the power of investing to build generational wealth. Hear that? Generational wealth. So not just for yourself, but for your whole bloodline, generational wise. As she is also someone who once lived paycheck to paycheck with a six-figure debt from professional school. She certainly knows what it is like to be filled with money guilt and shame. Today, she empowers women to get rid of the shame and guilt and instead take control over their money story with financial intelligence. She teaches and shows how to get rid of the six-figure debt, how she got rid of the six-figure debt and became a savvy investor and built a seven-figure real estate portfolio while also investing over 1,000 shares per year in the market and being a lender. Listen, tonight's going to be good. Tonight is going to be good. Aqui teaches other women and couples how to become savvy investors as well, diversify their investments, and live life on their own terms. As a proud advocate for women's economic empowerment and wellness, through her fitness wealth coaching program, she empowers others women to get fit and prioritize their self-care journey by providing an accountability platform, and she coaches them on wealth building strategies to build the wealth to bridge the wealth gap, diversity their investment, and reach financial freedom to live life on their own terms. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? I'm excited. She is a She is the founder of Financially Savvy Girl. Again, on Instagram, it's at financially_savvy girl, which is together, Savvy Girl. The co-founder of Women Investors Network Canada, which is also known as WINC, and that can be found on Instagram as well at WINC.investors, a community and network of like-minded women all over Canada committed to empowering other women, building wealth together, and giving back to the community. Her philosophy in life is that you have two hands, one to help others and one to help yourself. So please make sure that you do follow her. Aqui, we are so excited that you are here with us tonight. Please, in the comments, welcome her. Give her a round of applause. Put hearts, everything. This girl is amazing. I'm so excited she's here. Welcome, Aqui.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super humbled to have been invited here. This is a conversation that I love to have. And you know what? It's such an honor to have an audience where we're focusing on single parents because I find that, sometimes in the personal finance realm, like single parents get lost in the shuffle. Like people forget not every household is a two household income. So let's talk about it, guys.
Let's talk about it. And yes, a lot of times, like, people forget that. And I don't really want to necessarily say it, but let's be honest and let's keep it real. Single parents are looked down on, and you should be able to save and you should be able to do this, and it's like you get it on every angle, right? You've got the bills to pay, everything, you've got everything. You're one person, right? So tonight, I know that it's going to be helpful. It's going to be amazing. So tell us, what are the necessary steps that one should take when they're starting from scratch? So, like, somebody could be just a new single mom, somebody could have been a single mom for a while, somebody could be thinking about leaving an abusive relationship and becoming a single parent. What is that starting point?
Ooh, you are like diving straight into it. No time wasted. All right. What are the necessary steps? If there's anything that I can leave you with tonight and you forget everything else, I want you to remember this. There is nothing more important than paying yourself first. Okay. And you're gonna hear this, you're gonna be like, what do you mean? I'm struggling to pay bills. I don't have an opportunity to, I don't even have enough to make ends meet. I'm gonna repeat this. There is nothing more important than paying yourself first. And what does that mean? What does paying yourself first mean? I want you to remember this. Before you received your hard-earned paycheck, whether it is from government job or private sector or whatever it may be, when you look at that paycheck, what do you notice? You notice that your taxes have been reduced. What else do you notice? You notice that if it's a government paycheck, your dues, when it comes to like your union dues, your benefit, contribution, all of those have been removed before you receive your net pay. What should that tell you? That should tell you that not even the government or your union or whatever other insurance or dental that you're contributing to with your pay, they don't even trust you to pay them after you pay your expenses. And if you really want to start, you know, can do like having that mindset of I deserve to invest in my present and my future, you need to adopt the same logic. Life will happen, especially as single parents. Literally, all the burden is on you and you alone. If you do not pay yourself first, let it be like even if it's 10% of that paycheck, every paycheck, pay yourself first. Get that money automated. If you're a believer, if you're a Christian, we believe in paying tithes. So you get that tithe, you pay your 10%, that's gone. Guess what? Guess who's the next person you should be paying? You. You should be paying yourself, okay? Those bills, all of that, they can benefit from the leftover. Okay. You take the other 10%, you pay yourself. Now you train your brain to, you know what? I only have 80% left. 80% of my paycheck, that's what I have to make ends meet. That's all I have, and it's okay. I'm taking the time to actually invest in my future. And that money doesn't just sit there. It doesn't just sit in a PIC. And maybe I should say this. Let me start by saying this. Disclaimer, guys. Okay, this is informational only. I'm not here to be your lawyer. I'm not here to be your financial advisor. I'm here to tell you the things that I know have worked and continue to work.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I can tell you this, is this: that 10%, you don't let it sit on in any place that is paying you 1% or less. Okay. You invest it in the market. And the whole part of Financially Savvy Girl and the coaching, I show you where to put the money. And you're going to have access to some free resources as well, where you know where to put that. Ideally, you want to put that in a brokerage account. You want to put it in a brokerage account, you want to invest it in a brokerage account. If you're interested in real estate, but you don't feel like you have enough yet to buy real estate, there's ways for you to invest in real estate. You can buy REITs, real estate stocks. There are ways, but guess what? Because you're paying yourself 10% every paycheck, that money has no choice but to grow. And when you end up looking at your T4 like it's the season right now, you are not wondering where did your paycheck or all the money that you earned went. Because you know what? At least 10% every paycheck, I paid myself. I paid myself. My children will benefit from this. I will benefit from this. And my future self will thank me for this.
Absolutely. I love this. I love this. That's a whole lot of knowledge right there. I hope you all jotted that down. If not, catch the replay definitely. For those that are just jumping on, our guest tonight is Aqui, Financial Savvy Girl. Can be found on Instagram at financial_savvy girl, which is together. Wow, that was like a lot of knowledge right there. That's like, wow, that's really, really good. So I guess, it's safe to say that it just honestly, with that, it starts with the mindset. It starts with the self-care, right?
It really does.
Like it
It
starts,
starts with remembering that you deserve this. It
yeah,
starts, you know, training your brain and your habits to follow what your mind already believes, right? Your mind should know and believe that you are made to be a lender and not a borrower. Your mind should know that, like you deserve this life. Like freedom, financial freedom is your birth given right, is what I always say.
I
It
love,
is your birth given right.
yeah.
And you deserve this life, and you can truly have this life, and just really knowing that one step at a time will get you there. And then the habit is the whole paying yourself first. When you start doing that, you've trained your brain is training your behaviors to do certain things. And then all you do at night, literally after a week or so, it's like, oh, before going to bed, you just log into your account and you buy your stocks. You just buy your stocks because you've been busy, you've automated. Key part, you've automated this whole paying yourself first. So that paycheck hits your account on a Thursday, by Friday morning, that 10% is already transferred into your
You don't
investment.
even see it. You don't even have to touch it to
No,
it. It's
you don't even have access to it because you are treated the way your employer, the way the governments treat you, which is taking that money out of your accessibility so that you can only budget with what you have left. That's the biggest thing.
wow, that's really good. That's really good. So automated, that's important. Automated. Okay. So how important is it for one to be disciplined in finances and budgeting? Like
Oh, I
super,
see.
eh? Like super. It's everything. Like every last penny, right? Every last penny.
You know what? I say yeah and no. Nay, because you shouldn't feel like it's such a burden that it's hard for you to do. When it comes to budgeting, I always say that budget for the things that matters to you. What you should prioritize in your budget is the things that matter. So when I talk about your tithe, you're paying yourself, okay? Have an idea with what's remaining. Okay, now I only have this amount remaining. How will I be contributing this to the bills? What are my fixed expenses, right? And then okay, this amount we'll go here. I know I have a bit of a $200 groceries. Then you budget with the rest. But the things that matters the most to you, like your emergency fund, your investments, you budget for those things first. Okay. And then the rest, just make sure that you have a clear category of what are your fixed expense and what are your varied expense. Varied expense, such as like Christmas, which oftentimes is a huge budget killer because you just want to be in this Christmas spirit, you just want to buy things, and you have all this mommy guilt, and you just want to make your children feel good and feel like the biggest superhero that you can possibly feel. Meanwhile, really, yeah, they love the gifts, but they really just also love spending time with us. For
Absolutely.
that, I always say, don't wait until Christmas
Right.
to start saving for Christmas. Or don't wait till Christmas and then start spending for Christmas. Like it's the beginning of the year. Seriously, you just open what I call a high interest savings account, like a HISA, like go to EQ Bank, okay? EQ Bank. Online banking, it's kind of like Tangerine. And yeah, it's kind of like Tangerine, but it gives you at least a 1.25% in terms of the
Wow.
amount that you put in there. If you want to start an emergency fund or what I call like sinking funds are like special projects that you have, such as Christmas, if you may have some like reno projects, open EQ Bank's account, like two, three accounts. You're getting 1.25% for any money that you put in there. Yeah, that's exactly how it's spelled. Go there, open various account, and then start just putting $10 whenever you can. $10, $20. They add up. If you do this, by the time you get to Christmas, you are not thinking about where am I gonna get this money for Christmas shopping. Honestly, it's just about getting like making sure that you start adopting some good practice, and you'll see that you're not going to feel so pinched at the end. And this is why I have stuff like the money savings challenge, where we save 5,000 until the end of the year, 52 weeks to 5,000, just so that people can start training their mind to, whatever extra that I have, throw it, throw it to good use, throw it to good use. You have your Christmas, sinking fund, you put it there. You put it there. And don't rely necessarily on your credit card for all these big expenses. At the end of the year, you look at your EQ Bank, your high interest savings account. Make sure that you open a high interest savings account. Okay. So you look at that and you see, wow, I've been able to save $1,500 and tell yourself, this is my Christmas budget. Wow, I've been able to save $2,000. This is my Christmas budget. And then you charge your credit card, but you discipline yourself to only charge with the amount that you have. Why are you charging your credit card first? You're charging your credit card so you can benefit from any points that you may have, but you discipline yourself to only charge up to the amount. And then after you do that, you go home and you peacefully drink your tea or coffee, transfer that money from your EQ Bank into your credit card. You own no one anything. You have helped in terms of your credit score. You have helped, and you end the year not feeling that stress that we usually start the year with.
Right,
Like
right.
simple things
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. So I'm going to put in a tidbit here, a little nugget. So for those who do not know, maybe watching for the first time, I am a single parent as well. And one of the things for me, even small, like honestly, as long as I'm putting something, it doesn't matter how large it is, but something needs to be put aside, which means
No.
you have to change your life in some way. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Instead of me going to physically pay to get my nails done and let's see, how can I get them on here? I do them myself. That's money that you can literally put aside. So whatever it is that you pay, let's say per month, ladies, to get your nails did, it cost me like $12, let's say, for me to do it myself. And there's other things too that I personally do, which is I like to price match. If I can price match and that store will allow price matching is a bonus. Coupons is a bonus. And you know what? Everything does not need to be brand new. I'm just being very honest. Like, I like to save where I can so that I can take that money and put it towards something else, like family vacations,
Oh,
Christmas. Like, I start Christmas every year, like in January, and I pick everything up on sale as I go throughout the year. I don't wait till December, to be honest with you, for exactly what you're saying, because it just all adds up. Like, it's crazy. And who wants to start a new year in January in debt to begin with, anyway? So those are really good points. Thank you for that, Aki. Um,
well,
so in doing this, would this be a way to also improve a credit score or someone's credit? Does this also?
it will if you are, like I said, charging it on your credit card and then paying it off. The best way, really, to improve your credit score, the ultimate best way is for you to pay it off every single month. Okay. That's the ultimate best way. Meaning that you use it and whatever you've charged, the total amount charged, you pay it off before your due date. That's the best way. The other way to really do that is, and it's also a really good way, is for you to be mindful of five factors that actually affects your credit score. Your payment history is one. Okay. Your payment history is probably the biggest. Not probably, it is 35% of your credit score.
Wow.
Look at your credit score like a pie. Okay. So 35% of that pie is your payment history. What is it telling others? It's telling creditors and others, what's your relationship like with money? So, you know how they say past behaviors is often indicative of future behaviors? Unfortunately, that's what credit history does, and it's not always true. You go through hard times and you go through like periods where it's hard for you, but your credit history, your payment history rather, is the biggest portion of your credit score pie, 35% of that. And what are they looking at? Have you paid your bills on time for each month, like every single month on your credit report? Each month, have you been paying your bill on time? And what else are they looking at? If you have paid late, how late was it? Are we talking 30 days late, 60 days late, or 90 plus days late? When you pull that credit
Mhm.
report, sometimes you say 36, they all of that actually affects your credit score, and
Mm.
it does negatively. Okay. What else are they looking at? Do you have any account that is sent to collection as a result of your payment history? That's a big one. Another one that is major is really whether there's any charge off or debt settlement. A lot of people think, "Oh, let me just settle this debt. This is good." It's actually really bad for your credit. Okay, it's actually really bad for your credit. And in addition to that, bankruptcies, foreclosures, all of that are put in your credit, your credit score, your credit history, and it impacts negatively your credit score. If there was any wage garnished, if let's say you are renting somewhere and your wage had to be garnished because you're not paying
Mhm.
uh, for your rental unit or whatnot, like that is actually going to go on your credit.
Hmm.
Okay. So these are, and if there's any lien against you, judgment, public judgment against you, these are all things that they're looking at in your payment history, or all things that are happening to you that you don't know, but is actually affecting negatively your credit score. Okay. So that's 35% of the pie. The other factor it's definitely your debt to credit ratio, as you often hear when you're trying to purchase a home and 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 whatnot. So your debt to credit ratio, let's look at specifically like a credit card. Okay. So a credit card for let's say you have the limit of your credit card is $5,000, and you have charged the credit card up to 4,000. Okay, so you've charged up to 80% of the limit of your credit. Now, that is affecting you negatively. And this is why when you hear me or people telling you stuff like, you know what, it's better to pay off your credit card every month. The reason being is the second portion that affects your credit score the most is the amount that is owed, which is 30% of your credit score pie. So 30% of your credit score pie is how much you owe. Okay, so your credit card, 5,000 is the limit. You owe 4,000 of that 5,000. That means you have used up to 4,000, 80% of what's available. And that is impacting negatively. If, for instance, you manage to bring that amount down up to 30%, like that is like 30% is like what you should have it or under. So if you manage to, what's 30% of 5,000? My brain can't think right now. What is that? Like a thousand? Come on, guys. Let's, you know what? Why are we going to
I
do this?
don't have a calculator.
So that's, yeah, 1,500. Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah. Okay. So if you charge up to 1,500 and you leave it there on your due date and whatnot, you've paid the minimum payment, but it's not up to 1,500. This is going to increase your credit score because keep in mind this is 30% of the pie. So if you continue to maintain a good payment history, you're always paying it on time, and you keep it below 30% of utilization rate, you are going to see your credit score increase substantially. If obviously you keep it to zero every month, when you get to a point where that's feasible, then it's even better. Okay. The other thing that affects 15% is of the pie is really the length of credit history that you have, which means that the older credit cards that you may have, don't necessarily, when you pay them off, don't necessarily close them because that actually impacts negatively on your credit score.
Oh,
Yeah, it does actually. It's 15%. So the longest longevity, the
wow.
cards that you have the longest is actually benefiting you.
Wow.
So yeah, just make
I'm
sure that
like,
you
pay
have
it off and cut it off.
pay it off. If you cut it off, you can cut it off, but do not call and cancel.
Oh, okay.
Keep the card. Don't cancel that card because it's actually going to bring down your credit score, which makes no sense. But you need to understand your credit, the credit bureau and the credit score, it's a borrower game. It's a debtor's game. Like, unfortunately, as much as we love to listen to Dave Ramsey and think that we can live without credit, that's not the reality of today's society because you can't really do much without a credit card. You can't
Right.
really even, if you wanted to, like, I don't know, like,
Yeah,
you can't
nowadays
get
everything's
a credit
online
score,
too.
credit card, like, you can't.
Pay, yeah.
So, long story short, freeze that card, put it in a Ziploc, put some ice on it, put it in your freezer, let it just sit there if you need to. But don't call and cancel that card, okay? And if you think someone's gonna use it, just cut it. Cut it, and but don't cancel your card at all under no,
No
just let
circumstance.
it be this. No circumstance. You've paid it off, just be fine. Another thing is, if you've paid it off and now you have shifted your mind from being a spender and now you have better money management habits and you understand the journey that you're on, and this is everything that we go through coaching, right? But once you get there, then you understand that, you know what? I now can use this card wisely. I'm only charge on your credit card the things that you know you can pay up by the end of the month.
That's key.
That's the best way that you can use your credit card. Okay. Only charge the things that you know you can pay by the end of the month. So if that's your gas, let it be. Oftentimes, ladies, it is not that grocery bill. Okay. Groceries, like unless you really think you can pay it off by the end of the month, or you can pay it up to that 30% that we spoke about, then so be it, because I know a lot of people love the points, but points are not worth that high interest that you're paying. Points are not worth that bad credit that you're incurring. So you got to be realistic with yourself. I can't give you something without knowing specifically your situation, but as you listen to this, be realistic with yourself and ask yourself, those points that I'm accumulating, is it actually worth the sacrifices that I'm incurring based on my credit score, based on, all these credit card bills that I'm ranking up and they're just over my head and I'm unable to pay them off. Like, be realistic with yourself. And when you get to the realization and when it comes to your own personal circumstance that the points are not worth it, then only charge what you know you can pay. And that sometimes may only be your gas.
Yeah.
And you will pay that off. You charge it, you pay it off. You charge it, you pay it off. Your credit card will always be paid off by the due date, and your credit score is going to increase substantially. Do not, whatever you do not just pay the minimum payment on your credit score.
Right. Right.
Only the credit card. The only thing you're doing is paying the interest. And this is why people are sitting there. They're like, I paid this card every month and I don't see it go down. They're often high interest payments, right? 19.9, 22%. You're just paying interest. That's how they're making money off of you.
Right. And that's why it's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's why
why
it's important to
5,000
pay it off. Yeah.
invested.
Crazy.
Exactly. And so you need to understand compound interest is your ability to make interest off of your interest,
Hmm.
right? Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. This is when you really start making money in your sleep. When you start investing and your interest starts making money for you, well, the rule is this: you're either making compound interest or you're paying compound interest. And if you're using your credit card in a way that is not working for you, you, my darling, are busy paying compound interest and
Mm.
making companies richer.
Wow. Wow. That's really, really good. That's really good. So make sure that you use your credit card up to only 30%
Yeah.
and never, ever, ever cancel it. Put it in the freezer, get it up, shred
You have to.
it. But yeah, okay, wow, that's really good. That's really good. I also want to just insert too regarding the credit score. I'm not sure if people are aware of this or not, but your cell phone is part of your credit score. It is
Oh, yeah.
actually on there. So for those who may not know, make sure you pay your cell phone on time. It is
Your
there.
hydro will be in it. Your hydro, whatever you're not paying,
Everything.
your hydro will be in there. Your Enbridge will be in there.
Like
It's all.
everything is in there. So just keep that in mind. That is so good. That's really good knowledge right there. I just want to backtrack just for one moment and something that you did say, because I want to just bring it to the forefront in regards to emergency funds. For those who don't know what that is, can you just touch on that for a second?
Definitely. So, emergency fund, obviously, there's always going to be rainy days. Okay. There's always going to be something that breaks off that you really did not anticipate. It is you putting some coins aside for the unforeseeable, but that we all know will happen because guess what? This is life. And you don't want to rely on your credit card. You don't want to rely on your savings or investments. Oftentimes, people don't have an emergency fund, so they just dig back into their investment, pull out their investments, or get more into debt. So, rule of thumb, you definitely want to have a couple of months worth of expenses saved up, but that's not always feasible.
Right.
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 So at the very least, try to put aside that EQ bank there, have one that says emergency fund, and start slowly but surely getting yourself to having $1,000 put aside for emergency. Now let's be honest here. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, this is where I look straight in the camera. Okay, like that Amazon package you're trying to buy is not an emergency. Okay,
How you know?
uh, the nails you're trying to get done is not a. I know you want to put yourself first, but those nails are not an emergency. Okay,
Oh
we're talking
man.
about real like shoot, like we need to change this. Something just went off in the car that was not foreseen.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
like stuff that you know what? Oh, this needs to get done ASAP.
Yeah. And that happened to me, my
Yeah,
car. And
yeah, it's really
I took it from
car.
my emergency fund. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if I didn't have that there, I honestly don't even know what I would have done. Like, yeah. So emergency funds are to me like big. They're very
yeah.
essential. For sure. So yes, thank you so much.
So the best way to do it, that whole paying yourself first. So in the beginning, that 10% is going to fund your emergency fund, is what I always tell people when I do the coaching. 10% fund your emergency fund up until you get to at least 1,000. Okay, depending on your specific situation, sometimes that's all you can do. And I'm like, sis, that's good.
Yeah.
You good. Now let's shift gears into investing the rest of your money. So automatically you have your emergency fund that's there, and then you start doing your investment with the remaining. That's
And
it.
that's just, yeah, you just shifted. So in the meantime, then, just to draw a picture, in the meantime, now you've shifted and you're investing, and then something comes up with the car, and you've got to touch that emergency fund, which now takes away from that $1,000. When you are paying yourself, you go back to square one, right? And you go put it back into the emergency fund until you get back up to 1,000, and then shift it again back into investing.
It depends how much you pulled. If you pulled, let's say 200, and things are doing really well in the market right now, you're continuing investing. And you'll be surprised that sometimes the interest from your investments will be the funds of that $200 from your emergency fund. Does that make sense?
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really, really amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Tell us, though, how important is it for one to talk about their finances to the person they are dating or engaged to?
Child.
Yeah, let's grab some water real quick.
Oh my God, this is so paramount. Like, the amount of headaches that we as women can save ourselves, or you know what, in fairness, men as well. But the amount of headaches that we can save ourselves if we get comfortable talking about money and those things that actually matters to you, and touch on, how is that person thinking a little bit more. You don't even understand how much headache you can save yourself. So maybe not first date, but
No, no.
definitely by date number 2.
Oh, really?
If you're not comfortable on first date, sure, whatever, if you wanna have small talk. But definitely don't let
Really?
it go to date number 2. Yeah, I would say first date, but, I'm mindful that my level of comfort in talking about money may not be everyone's. But by date number 2, you should be having conversation. And I'm not talking about stuff like what's your credit score, I think when
I'm
I when
glad
I
you're specifying.
couples yeah, when I talk about couples talking about money, people are always like, "Oh, so I'm gonna ask him, what's your credit score?
How much
Are
you
you
got
gonna take care
saved?
of me? Are you gonna take care of me?" No, that's no way to have anyone wanna be with you, okay? Let's be honest.
That's hilarious.
Uh, we're talking about stuff like, okay, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Yes.
You know, financially speaking, like these are ways where you can ask these things. Financially speaking, where do you see yourself? If you were to be in a relationship, how do you see that, sort of financial conversation and the roles that we would have, when it comes to money? All these things, trust me, you're going to end up finding out about if he has any debt. You're going to find all these things, but you're not going to be asking him that necessarily. Or if he tells you, my goal in 5 years is this and this and this is to pay off my debt, Okay, that's interesting. You mentioned that your goals are to pay off your debt. Is that something that's really important to you? And why is that very important to you? Then you're tapping into easy a spender, easy a saver, easy an investor. Like you're tapping into that. Let him talk. Let
Yeah,
him
stay
talk.
quiet.
Ask
Just
him
let him talk.
questions, and then pick up what he's saying and then put it back out there in a way that it's giving you more information, you know? Put it back out there. And, when he tells you stuff like, oh no, paying off debt is really important. I want to build generational wealth because now, everybody be saying, I want to build generational wealth. Okay. Have you started on this journey? What does that look like for you today? If have you started, will probably tell you if, okay, yeah, I did actually, I'm into investing or I just purchased my first home. He's going to tell you stuff. Just ask. And then he also sees that these are things that are important to you. You want to build. And then you can say, what's really important for me is I want to have a partner that we can build. When I talk about generational wealth, him and I need to be on the same page and we are building and our children need to stand on our shoulder. This is all very
Yes.
important, which actually begs me to ask, do you want any children? Girl, just
Leads
call
into
me.
everything. Yeah. 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 It leads
Just
into
call me. I'll be like that little voice in your ears, okay? Just ask me
just wear the
questions.
little earbud there, and then Aki will just walk you through it.
I'm kidding, but it's all that just to say you have to be comfortable asking these questions because if you don't, then you get yourself in this position where you don't know anything. You get into a relationship and you guys are completely not on the same page.
Right.
He just wants to like spend your money, you're trying to bill, you're out there just like co-signing everything. No, I'm laughing, but it's not funny because
It's
unfortunately,
true
I've
though.
seen way too many women do this, co-sign left and right, and then they're
Yeah.
left with the bill and the
Yeah.
baggage.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What you're saying is so true. I have seen it too. And with that being said, what you were saying is important. Like women, let him talk, or vice versa. Men let her talk, but also make sure that you are careful in listening to what's being said because you have gold diggers out there that want to see what they
Mhm.
can get from you. So don't do all the talking and put everything out there.
No, you're not. No, no, no. That first money conversation, you're not doing the talking. You're giving a bit, but you're not out there. You have to really be comfortable listening to the other person more than talking about yourself. That's the only way that you find out more about other people. Like when you're getting to know people, oftentimes people think, let me talk, let me sound interesting. No, you're going to leave that date barely knowing anything about that man. And
Mm,
oftentimes that's what happens with women because we just want to talk. We're so excited. No, hear what he has to say. He's the one who should be courting you. Hear what he's bringing to the table, what he's saying. Like
yeah.
what does he have to say? How is he making you feel like this is someone that you can build with? This is someone that you can, if you're single mom, let's talk about single mom. This is someone that you can bring your children around.
Yes.
How is he making you, giving you that comfort? But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm not at all saying that just because a man tells you that he has some debt that you disqualify him because
Right.
sometimes
No.
be the best partner that you can possibly have. But you guys need to be on the same page when it comes to turning your life around for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, exactly what you said there about the person that you're on that date with or what have you, or having this conversation with, you know, don't discredit them because they have some debt, because you don't know what they, if you're just getting to know them, you don't know what they went through. If you're, let's just say, on a date with another single parent, they may have not gone through something so great and may have debt that was put on them by the partner, right? So just keep that in mind as well. But on this topic about dating and all of that stuff, how important is it for one to have their own bank account?
Ooh, what stage? What stage? What are we talking about?
We're
Dating
talking
stage?
about like we're gonna talk about because I mean, let's just say you're dating, you get engaged, and now you're married. Let's just like because now
Okay,
you're one. Let's talk
let's
about
talk
that.
about those three stage.
Okay,
Okay, you're
okay, let's do
dating.
it.
Absolutely, everything should be separate. You engage, start talking about putting something together, especially if you are working towards buying, let's say, a home together. Have one account that you kind of it's split, you're putting this amount, I'm putting this amount, and it's clear. You're married. I frankly believe that you should merge your finance when you're married. However, people don't understand this, and this is why people get like so caught up when it comes to like merging their finance. They're like, oh, I don't want to do it. But really, keep this in mind. Your tax-free savings account, which we didn't talk about, everybody needs to have a TFSA. If you're over 18, have a TFSA, okay? And you can reach out to me and we can talk more about that. Your tax-free savings account and your RSP, those are your investments vehicles, okay, here in Canada. They can only be under your name. So even if you're merging your finances, you're merging your checking account, your I don't even believe in savings account. You're merging your checking account or what I call lending account before you disperse it where it needs to go. That doesn't mean that the person has necessarily all the control of your money. Your investments, your investment accounts are your investment accounts, and it can only be under your name. So you keep those to yourself even after you marry, and you become intentional about putting money in those accounts for sure.
That's
Does
amazing.
that make
Yeah, no, totally, totally. So please don't do it while you're dating. Don't do it while you're dating. I would suggest to do it like Aki said, talk about it when you're engaged and stuff, but do it when you're, married or have that commitment on that level. Yeah, definitely 125,000%. So, what are some of the tricks and or hacks that you may have to help single parents elevate when it comes to finances and supporting their children financially? Like,
sense?
should one take out like a life insurance for their kids?
Oh my God.
Like how
Every single yes, yes. I'm so happy you brought that up. Every single parent, especially single parents, should make sure that they themselves, the parent, have a life insurance. That's probably one of the best thing you can do for your children. And your life insurance, if you have a home or debt, make sure that the disbursement or whatnot, what would be uh, given is greater than that debt. Okay. Because you want to make sure that your child or your children can simply worry about mourning, probably the biggest loss of their life,
yeah.
and not worry about, you know, mommy left me this, but then there's this that I need to take care of, or your funeral or stuff like that. Like, have a life insurance policy. That's probably the best thing you can do. Secondly, because investment works in a way where time in the market is the best thing that you can possibly do, investing for that child is probably the best thing you can do. If possible, that child benefit that as a parent you get, if you can spare even $50, $100 of that money and you put it into an investment vehicle, whether it's RESP, in a brokerage account. You hear I don't talk about bank in a brokerage account. Okay. You put it in an RESP for their education just so that you can get that government match, that 500 every year if you're contributing 2,500. But even if you don't have that, you put it in an investment account and it could be for the time being just your own, like a TFSA that you're opening. And you're just putting that, and you put your child as the beneficiary of that account. That's probably the best thing you can do because guess what? You doing that, when we talk about compound interest, that child is going to have like over 100K by the time they're 18. And you barely did anything, just putting $100 here and there, here and there. best thing that you can possibly do. Life insurance, and start investing for that child as early as you can.
And life insurance for the child too. Do you recommend that? Like for yourself, absolutely, but for the child as well? No? Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Um
Yeah.
yeah, those are really 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 great great points. So if you don't have life insurance, make sure that you do. Um make sure that your child is covered as much as possible. Like Aki said, like, if something was to happen to you, definitely like leave them with just the grieving uh,
Yeah.
portion of it, for sure.
And if you started like acquiring assets and whatnot, like you have a home or whatnot, please, 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 and you have investment, you have a will.
Yeah,
That's another best thing you can do for your child because you don't want them. What happens if you don't have a will? You die without a will, right? And then there's rebate, and then it goes through a whole system that eats part of your money. Like it's, and especially if, let's say, that child is still a minor, and it just gets really messy. Or even if they're not a minor, there's family involved, there's legal stuff involved. Now people start fighting about what should have gone to whom. Have a will. Let it be clear what your intention and your desires are for your assets.
right, right. That's amazing. This is such good information and nuggets tonight. I know I've learned definitely from you tonight. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat really quickly because we're going to be bringing this to an end. So feel free if you have any questions or anything like that. But tonight was like a lot of knowledge. I encourage everybody to go back and rewatch, share this broadcast if you can to friends and family, because there's a lot here, and especially if you know a single parent, male or female, because listen, a single parent is a single parent. And it's about the children. At the end of the day, it's about the children, making sure that they are okay. But you know what? You can do this. I know it 125 billion% because, again, I am a single parent myself. And I know that if it's just a little amount that you do, just a little, and don't touch it, it accumulates. And so guess what? You don't need to start in January every year and only have it, it has to be January. That's when, the New Year's resolution or the goals start. So it has to be January. No, you can start today. There's 365 days in a year. You can literally do it at any point in time. Don't be hard on yourself. Make sure that you, if you mess up, it's okay. Don't stay there. Don't stay there. Make sure that, you can get back on track. We have all oops, I shouldn't have put that there. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have put it on the credit card. It's okay. It's okay. Check yourself, correct yourself, and know, you know what? Okay, I've got this. And be bold. Be bold and know that you can do this. Give yourself the confidence and the encouragement. Listen, make it part of your affirmation every day, your declarations every day that you've got this. 1,000%. I'm just going to look through the chat here. This is amazing content, a viewer has said. Learned a lot in sharing with everyone I know who is willing to listen. Awesome information. Thank you for sharing. And you can start at any age. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any age. Yeah, any age. I love that. Thank you for putting that in the chat. I appreciate that. Well, that is it for this evening. Aki, my heart is full. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on this evening and sharing. Honestly, I know that lives have been touched and they're going to increase. The value of their life is going to increase. And we appreciate you. We simply appreciate you. Wait, we got one quick question. Where are the areas you recommend to invest your money and it's safe? Concerns about investing a large sum of money and losing it. It happened to someone I know.
Okay, so what's the question? Is it where are the areas you recommend to invest money in a safe manner? Is that sort of the
And it's
gist of it?
safe. I guess, yeah, and it's safe. I guess a large sum, if you have a large sum of money, where do you recommend to invest it where it's safe?
Yes. I think for sure, like lending money, but lending money through like real estate lending, however, acting like the bank, having it registered on title is a good way to invest. That's probably my one of the best way that I personally do and recommend. There's a reason why the bank mortgage lending is their bread and butter. Okay. Because it's the safest way. It's registered on title. There's a guarantee. There's what we call a lien on. And they do it in a way that, they only lend up to 80% of what we call loan to value, LTV, which is up to 80% of the value of the property. And you adopt the same way of doing that. And there's vehicles that I show people how you can do that. And by doing that, why do they only lend up to 80%? They do so because they know if anything possibly happen in the market and the home loses value. Frankly, I haven't seen it. Have you seen any home lose its value
Oh,
since
not lately,
beginning
anyways.
since you were born? However, they still leave it to 80%, although they know it doesn't. And the reason why they do that is they know that it will, even if it was to ever lose its value, it will never lose more than 20%. So they leave that room where their money is completely guaranteed. And you can totally do that in a way. And we're talking about like you're making 10, 12, depending on the amount that you're investing, you're making 10, 12, 14, 8 to 15% interest
Wow.
of the money. There's a reason why the Bible say you should be a lender. Like,
Mm.
and I fundamentally believe in it. And I think, in addition to all this, something that we didn't touch on that I think is really key is, and this has nothing to do with where to invest, but to answer your question, that is what I would say. And really investing in real estate is like there's no place where you make more interest than that. Whether you're lending or you're investing in somewhat of a deal, or partnering up with someone. If you have large fund and buying, like I'm big into buying buildings these days, so
Yep.
like that, where your money's actually working and doing something and appreciating in terms of value. Those are places that I personally would if I was the person. But I don't want to leave this without reminding all the women here the importance of self care. Okay. Your self care through all of this is important. And self care, I'm not necessarily talking about, getting your nails done or whatnot, like taking care of your health. We don't talk enough about this. And oftentimes as mothers, you often give yourself the leftovers because you're grinding, you're grinding, you're grinding, you're
Yeah.
grinding. But taking care of your health, this year I specifically implemented Fit and Wealthy as the group coaching because I noticed that as women, we often put ourselves last when it comes to our fitness, when it comes to that aspect. And people always want to talk to me about wealth. I'm like, that's great. But how are you doing? How's your
Right.
mental health? How's your fitness? How are you showing up for yourself on a daily? So, Fit and Wealthy has been really a platform where, as women, we come together and we encourage each other every morning to show up for ourselves, even if it's just for 20 minutes. For me, waking up early, a good hour before everybody else who needs something from me wakes up. I wake up, I do my devotional, I do my prayer, I do my gratitude journaling, I do 20 minutes of my workout before I can even get to be pulled in all different directions. I have taken the time to pour into myself, to pour into
Yeah.
my own cup before I can pour out. And I
Oh,
think this is so key and fundamental. So
absolutely.
please be
Yeah.
reminded to take care of yourself. If you're interested in this program, feel free to reach out. I made sure that it was something that's affordable so nobody feels left out.
That's
Okay.
amazing. That is amazing. So please, please, please reach out to Aki. Please make sure that you do. as she just mentioned, a morning routine actually sets a tone for your day. If I
Absolutely.
can honestly say anything about being a single parent, yes, the financial side of things is important, but you setting your day in the morning on how you do things, it helps with your mindset. It helps you the clarity that you have throughout the day, and it helps make sure that you stay on track with your finances.
And
Um,
you're just a nicer person. Let's be real. You're a nicer mom. Like, I'm a nicer wife. I'm a nicer mom by the time they wake up because I've been busy taking care of me first,
yes,
instead of
yeah,
like being all grumpy and I'm just nicer.
yeah,
My husband loves me for it. Like,
yeah. And it's okay. It's okay to put you first. It honestly is. It is okay. It's okay. So, I hope that answered the question from our viewer. We appreciate you all. Again, Aki, thank you so much for being here this evening. You've really poured into us. Simply love you. Thank you again, and thank you to all our viewers for being here this evening. I hope you got some nuggets. Again, make sure that you take your notes on however you've taken them and put them in a safe place, because you're going to need to go back and view them. This live will be on our Facebook page, Keeping It Real TV Network, as well as our YouTube channel. All links can be found within our bio, as well as Aki's link. We always keep our guest link in for about a week or so. Again, it's financial underscore savvy girl altogether, savvy girl, on IG. Please reach out to her and watch all of her reels. They're really cute. They're really good.
financially underscore savvy girl.
Yes, yes.
It's a
And
mouthful.
but it's good. It's good. It's good. Go check it out. You will not regret it. And then reach out to her personally if you have any other further questions or you want to join the coaching and stuff like that. And like she said, it's affordable for everybody. Nobody can feel left out. So make sure you go over and do it now. Until next time, make sure that you keep your head high, shoulders back, and go get what's yours. Take care. Thank you. Bye.